for coming back to my channel. Thank you so much to everybody who's listening right now in the podcast. It is Saturday, July 19, 2025. I wanted to come here and do a second episode regarding the disappearance of Amy Bradley. I know I already did an episode, but now I'm coming with my observation after watching the Netflix special. Before I continue, of course, I want to thank everybody who is listening right now using Spotify. Don't forget to follow me on Spotify and rate the podcast and leave a comment. Leave a comment specifically with this episode. Let me know, guys, what you think. This is a tricky one, meaning that in my mind, after watching the Netflix, right, I think there are like 3 suspects. So let me know, guys, what you think about after you listen to it. And also I want to thank everybody who's watching this video on YouTube. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And of course, everybody who's using Apple Podcasts, thank you so much for listening in Pandora Podcast. So you guys, what a great Netflix documentary they have done on the disappearance of Amy Bradley. I think it was very well done. There were times that I was basically terrified, to be honest. I think they did great with keeping the suspense, the music, and all of that stuff. But, we need to remember this is an actual person who went missing, right? And I think that it's just, wow. It's very interesting. I think that the whole Netflix documentary also kind of like surprised me in a way that I have known about her disappearance for a long time. Like I said in my previous episode, that I remember seeing that photo in America Most Wanted years ago, and I couldn't believe that somebody would just disappear on a cruise ship and all of that. And what surprised me, regarding her was that she was living that she had a girlfriend and she had broken up with her own girlfriend and all of that. And the reason that I say that is that I don't think they have ever mentioned that before in all of the reporting about her disappearance. I think, yeah, maybe that's not even relevant, right? But in this Netflix thing, they actually included that. And they also included how the parents will, feel about her, right? Regarding, that she had a girlfriend, right? So, and had girlfriends before, right? So that's as I know. Also, I thought that all the witnesses that say that they saw her, like, wow, it's just very bizarre to me that all these people are willing to come out and speak about her disappearance, knowing the pain and knowing all of this, and they're all coming and saying, oh yeah, we saw her, but then I didn't do anything with the, she asked for help, but I didn't do anything. And it's good that, that they're willing to come and speak and saying, I saw her, this and that, but you really didn't help her. So it makes you wonder, like, how come? And they're saying, oh, she was with the guy, right? So let's start with that, the witnesses, right? The people that saw her after she disappeared, all of that saw her, the guy that is an ex-marine or something like this, saw her walking with 2 guys on the beach, right? And she said she came straight up to me, and just when she was about to say something to me, she got stabbed by one of the guys. This is the person that, the coverage that was given to the disappearance of Amy Bradley back when it happened, in 1998, March 1998, and the years following that, let's just say all the way to like 2000, right? It was a big coverage. It was a big case, right? And these people have her captive, and they're gonna just walk down the beach where there are tourists and people from different countries, and they're just gonna walk with her down the beach. That to me is just very odd, right? And she's gonna be walking with her captors, and she's gonna just basically walk off to somebody and ask for help. That's a little weird, because if you're being held against your will, like, you kind of, from what we know, watching crime movies and all of that, not movies, real stories, Usually, the people wait for their captors to kind of like fall asleep, or like they get distracted, not just casually walking down a way and being like, I'm gonna shoot my shot, I'm gonna run to this man, right? On a beach, it's not like he's like in a place on a beach at early morning, right? But like, where is the police that he can just get help, and you can get more people involved, right? You need to understand, Amy was already like ready to start living on her own, having her own apartment. We're not talking about a 13-year-old, okay? We're talking about somebody who was very smart, had accomplished so much already. And I just, you're thankful for the witnesses, but it's like, I don't know, like, they're saying that was her, that's who I saw. It's just, I don't know. It's just like, if you're telling me that she's at a supermarket walking with these two guys and there's a lot of people, that she can create a situation where she can be like, talk to, to the cashier and say, I'm being held against my will, get everybody involved, and like nobody, the police shows up, nobody's leaving, that, but like on a beach on an early morning when there's basically not enough people, and like I said also, and if there's people, they're probably gonna be tourists, right? And this case had a lot of coverage. It's just, I don't know about that. But then you have the witnesses that say that they saw her walking with the guy at the disco. His name is Yellow. He's the guy who was last seen also with her dancing, and he's on the video dancing with her. And they actually, in the Netflix, they had the daughter call him and record him talking and all of that, like because Yellow's daughter said that her mom will tell her stories about him, and saying that how one day he came home from work and he had in a suitcase, he had a bunch of photos of Caucasian women, and he doesn't know how to answer about that, right? So basically it's some type of sex trafficking thing that he was dealing with, perhaps. But she actually went on Netflix to help with the documentary, with the series, excuse me, and she actually called her dad there, and it was recording, was shown on the Netflix, and he's denying any involvement. He said he was just a girl, this and the other. So that guy was seen with her after she left the cabin, I guess, the room, and two ladies saw her, right? Saw her with him, walking with him, going up the crystal elevator, and then when he returned, he didn't have her, right? So, and they say, I remember her, apparently Amy was this type of people that you focus on them and you're like, oh, they seem so interesting. You need to understand, like, for me, all these people that are speaking about her that are not family, they're talking as though they grew up with her. Like, these are people on a cruise, and they're like, remember specifically who she was, how they saw her, and saying that she was the life of the party and all of that. That's, there are people who have that type of personality and they attract people like that. I understand that. But the two ladies that saw them, as they were going, Amy was walking with Yellow and going up the elevator, and then when he returned, he didn't have her, and they thought that was odd. And one of them said, I noticed that she was focusing, that Amy was looking at something, right? Okay. And then you have, so those are the witnesses, basically. Then there was another lady that saw her years ago in a bathroom. I don't know exactly what island it was. And once again, the whole scenario, right? She's asking for help to somebody in the bathroom, and then out of nowhere, she kind of got like a little, she walked up to her, all the way to her face, and the lady said something like, I played it off as a dumb tourist or something like this, and then I left the bathroom because I know they were waiting for her. She didn't really report any of that. She basically just, now, it's just, I don't know about that, but a situation like that, and you're like on vacation, or like you're at a hotel, it will make you like, it will put like alerts on you, and you'll be like, let me tell somebody at the front desk, let's just say, let me tell somebody, some staff member, let me communicate what I just saw. Because if I have the feeling that somebody's going against their will, and I actually get to speak with them, and she said she sounded like she had a southern accent, all of that. Let me put somebody on alert. I'm not judging any of the witnesses. I'm just think it's interesting that how there's so many of them, right? And they saying that was her. That's exactly who I saw. That's Amy. She's alive. This and the other. It's just you guys let me know what you think about all the witnesses, okay? So then we have, those are the witnesses. Now we have the story of the family, right? Because they said a lot of stuff, obviously, Amy's family, and we, with all the respect, we understand what they're going through is unimaginable. It's been so many years, no answers and all of that, and then all the witnesses inside saying that we saw her over here, we heard her. It's just I cannot understand how to deal with that. So here we are. Let's start by on the disco, right? She's there. She has the mom and dad decide to go to bed, and they're there on the disco. She stays there with her brother, right? And after mom and dad leave, they're dancing, whatever, right? It's early hours. I think they close at midnight or something, the disco or something like this. And then Brad said, Amy's brother signals to her and say, hey, I'm leaving, basically, And she's dancing, right? And I don't know, side note here, have you seen the videos of her dancing? It's just very interesting to me, to be honest. This is just my observation. This is somebody who Amy, the girl, she said, she had girlfriend and everything. She basically, the girl, I can't pronounce that. She declared herself as being homosexual, right? And she had her girlfriends, and she was on a breakup and all of that. The way she was dancing was like, it was like, dancing with guys and all of that. It was just a little, like she didn't even look it, right? Basically. And it's almost like you're leaning on to somebody even though you're, according to you, that you say that's not your type, basically. And there's a lot of footage of her dancing, right? So then Brad leaves, right? And he goes back to the room, to the cabin. And then he said within 5 minutes, she's basically, Brad left, and he went to the deck for 30 minutes and then went back to the room. And then he said after 5 minutes, she basically walked in too. And they're in the balcony, right? And they're smoking, drinking, finishing their drinks and all of that in the balcony. And then, I don't know what time it was, maybe 3 something. Brad says he's gonna go to bed, right? And she says, I'm gonna stay here because I'm not feeling too well, I want some air, right? Now, we're gonna open parentheses and we're gonna mention the neighbor, right? The older man who's staying at the cabin next to them, who is basically fascinated by Amy, basically. He knows who she is. He has spoken with her. He saw her dancing. He's like, I just went to the disco and I saw her dancing with her. Basically, it's these eyes that are just following her around, basically. And luck will have it, basically, she's actually next door, and he will talk to her through the balcony. And he said that it was so easily to speak with her because you can just lean over and she was right there. I believe that an older man going to the cruise by himself and all of that, and basically putting his eyes on Amy, basically, he definitely was watching everything that what time she left, what time she came back. So he knew, like, he knew her timing, and he probably knew that she was in the balcony. I mean, this is an old man that maybe he wasn't that old when it happened, but he was traveling by himself, so he was basically so focused on what the people next to him were doing, because he obviously spoke with her and all of that. I knew about her and knew who she was and saw her dancing. I mean, he's basically saying all of this on the documentary, right? So I thought that was very interesting. He was basically, in my opinion, the monitor guy, right? He's the monitor, you know. Maybe he went back out. He said he went back out at 2 in the morning because he knew who came back was just Amy's parents. He didn't see Brad and Amy come back, so he probably went back to see if he will see them. And that's what he did. He saw that she was still dancing at the disco, right? This guy knew, you know, that she has not returned back to the room, right? And I believe, in my opinion, he definitely knows more than what he's saying when it came to her disappearance. Because of how much he's talking about how he saw her, how he spoke with her, and, you know, how he will talk to her in the balcony too. Like, that's very intimate, in my opinion, for you're on a cruise, right? And I understand him being solo, but like, to speak with people and get so connected so quickly like that, I mean, you're still like, everybody's all strangers, right? Like, I don't know like how to explain that. I know it's a different world now, but it's like you're not neighbors for like 20 years. You guys are just on a cruise that eventually, then, you know, everybody's gonna go back home, right? You guys are just neighbors on a cruise. You're not neighbors for years and years that, you know, you see somebody in the balcony and let me go talk to them now, right? So, you know, it's just he's something else, in my opinion. I think there's something with him, his whole demeanor, and I feel like he was definitely the watchdog, you know. And the reason that I'm saying that he was watching, that he knew that she had not returned when the parents came back, and he actually went out back to the disco. And the reason that I say that, because the mom said that she noticed how, I mean, the whole family said that they noticed how when they went to dinner, right? They were all like, the staff was very focused on Amy. I mean, like, it's almost like you would think this person, like, if that would have happened now, like, she probably is TikTok famous. She is being recognized on a cruise, because for her to be so memorable like that, and could be a reason for that, and for the staff to be like catering to her to the point that even Brad said, you know, we said if you need anything, just ask Amy and she will get it to you in the restaurant, because they noticed how the staff was just all over her. How her photos disappear after, you know, when they entered the area of the dinner, I guess, you know, they were very nicely dressed and there was a photographer, and he asked, I want to take Amy's photo, like, I want to take her photo specifically, right? So she was already singled out, basically. It's almost like they already knew, like, she had like a big spotlight on her, and I wonder where that came from. It makes you like think like, excuse me, it makes you think like, it's just interesting. And then, you know, they mentioned how the family had some type of an issue with her, you know, when she declared herself homosexual and had girlfriends and all of that. And they were saying how it was the late 90s, how it's different times now, all of that. And they were not, you know, I don't know if it was the dad or maybe their mom and dad all together. They had an issue with her being, you know, like that, and having girlfriends and all of that. And now, you know, we're back, I'm thinking, back on the deck, right? And the dad said, so Brad goes to bed, right? He said he goes to bed, she wants to stay longer, right? And the dad said that at some point he woke up, he doesn't know what woke him up, right? And he said he looked over and he see her feet, right? And he said, she's safe, I'm gonna go back to bed. What? I'm sorry guys, this is just my opinion. You're like, that to me is just, that was a red flag to me, in my opinion. I'm not saying that he has any involvement, but I think that he's not being 100% honest with what transpired, because the last person to saw her alive, well, before the disappearance, let's just say, it was the dad, and the person who reported her missing was also the father, right? So he was the first person who went out to look for her, right? So let's talk about that, okay? You're gonna wake up at the wee hours in the morning, you're on a cruise, and you see the balcony and you see your daughter's feet, and I don't care if she's over 23 or something when that happened. You're gonna be like, let me walk over there. Amy, what are you still doing in the balcony? Are you okay? He just looked over, saw the feet, and said, she's safe, I'm going back to bed. I mean, they're not staying in separate rooms, right? I feel like he actually went there and spoke with her, okay? I think there was a conversation, because how can he not, I mean, I find it hard to believe, I'm not blaming him for not doing it, but I find it hard to believe that he never went back and was like, Amy, time to go to bed, we have to. And he said, I know she was safe, I went back to bed, I know we're gonna wake up shortly because we were leaving early, because they just got to port. Like, because of that, wouldn't you be like, Amy, you slept over here? He never went to see if she actually fell asleep. Like, I see her feet and I said, she's safe, I'm going back to bed. I feel like there was some type of gap there in the investigation, and I feel maybe there's a reason why, this is just my opinion guys, after looking at the Netflix, the reason why the dad is not talking, not being 100% honest, is because maybe their conversation was based on her being so openly while dancing with guys at the disco and enjoying herself, right? And even though she was, she is, well, that's what their family is saying. And I feel like I think it's maybe that's why he doesn't want to share it. That's just, I could be completely wrong, right? But I feel like we always have to look at the last person who saw them and the person also who reported them, right, missing. And I feel like I find it hard to believe, this is my whole point about this. It's very hard for me to believe that even if you see her feet at the balcony, even if you're so tired and you have to wake up in a little bit, you're not gonna go and be like, hey, Amy, are you still out here? Can you get to bed? We have to wake up in a little bit. I think he's not telling us what happened there. And also, if you pay attention, you would have said, if they were talking, Amy and the dad were talking, the mom would have woken up, Brad would have woken up. Well, they show a video of Brad, right? And actually it was the dad filming, and you can see that Brad is in bed sleeping, and the dad is recording him and saying, look at Bradley all sleeping, all of that. Meaning that it looks to me like, what do they call those people that don't wake up out of anything? That Bradley would never, excuse me, I keep saying Bradley, that's the last name. Brad wouldn't hear anything if they were talking because he was fast asleep. I mean, what time he went to bed? 3 in the morning? So he was probably the same way that he was in that video that they showed Brad sleeping. So he probably never heard when Dad came to the balcony and talked to Amy, right? So that's something that I wish, I wish I'm not creating ideas in my head. I wish I was wrong, but I feel like that is missing. I feel like that is not being 100% honest with what transpired when he saw her at the balcony. When he woke up, he said, I woke up, I don't know what woke me up. And you're gonna see your daughter there and you're gonna say, oh, she's safe, I'm going back to bed. First of all, like, she's safe. Like, what is that? Safe for what? You can say, oh, she's back, okay, so she's still at the balcony, whatever, I'm going back to bed. It's interesting to me that he used that choice of words, and I know we can all make mistakes, obviously, but he's not gonna go and talk to her and be like, hey, get up, we gotta wake up in 2 hours, can you get some sleep now? You still out here? And I know they're gonna say, well, she's 23, she can do whatever she wants, but they're still staying in the same room with their parents in the same cabin. So yeah, he probably got up and spoke with her, and I don't think the conversation was just about that, right? I don't think the conversation was just about that. And the reason that I mentioned that, I believe that the conversation turned into something else, and Amy left the room. And I think Amy left the room, and she probably was upset about something. And then she found the friends that she made at the disco, like Yellow, and then it began there, right? And that's what I see looking at that. And I think the dad then wakes up at 6 or something, and he didn't see her. He didn't see her in the balcony, and he immediately, he said he goes out and look for her. Like, you don't see her in the balcony, and you're not gonna wake up Brad and be like, Brad, what time you guys got back? Because Amy's not here. Like, did she tell you she was gonna do something early in the morning? That to me is just like, there's like a big gap that's missing information when it comes to the dad, in my opinion. But also I believe that the next door neighbor was watching her move. He was keeping track of whether she came back or not. He knows that she smokes, so she was gonna be at the balcony smoking, right? That's how he knows, right? And he takes me up, one of those people that would just show up out of nowhere and be like, oh, I knew you're gonna be here smoking, or I can smell you smoking or something. And maybe I don't know, it could be something. I was just thinking maybe she was crying in the balcony after talking to her dad, and he offered some help, the older neighbor, maybe, who knows, right? So it's just interesting. And then it could be so many things. I'm speaking like that because I'm almost running out of time right now on my video here, but it's just somebody knows something. And also the website that was created, that they say that every time, right, every time it's like a holiday or something like this, it gets pinpointed to near Barbados. I believe that somebody's watching that website near Barbados, and they see photos and all of that. I was thinking when I first saw that, I was like, that's probably a reward that they give her to, reward for Christmas or something. But I also find it kind of like, I don't know. It's just, if they have all this information, why aren't they going over there knocking down doors, basically? If they can pinpoint exactly who's watching on the website then. So guys, I'm out of time now. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to watching this and listening. And please understand, this is just my opinion after watching the Netflix documentary regarding the disappearance of Amy Bradley. Let me know, guys, what you think. Have a good day, everybody. God bless. everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much for coming to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good day, everybody. God bless.